meeting will please come to order. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this evening. My name is Trippy Congo, President of City Council. Today is Thursday, June the 3rd. Just a quick reminder for any public comment, there's a Google Form sign-up link in the chat for anyone who would like to speak. Public comment will take place after non-legislative business. We will begin with an opening prayer by Akira Bernardo.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Amen.
Amen. This time we'll have Pledge Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
Flag.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Gray.
Present.
Councilwoman Darby.
Present.
Councilwoman Oliver.
Present.
Councilwoman Harley.
Present.
Councilwoman Fields.
Present.
Councilwoman McCoy.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Field.
Present.
Councilwoman Cabrera.
Here.
Councilwoman Dixon.
Here.
Councilman Spadola.
Here.
Councilwoman Walsh.
Here.
President Congo.
Here.
13 present.
Thank you. I just want to take a few moments just to reflect on the occurrence that happened here in our city. Late last night into this morning, we were reminded of the bravery of the men and the women of our Wilmington Police Department. 3 officers were shot while responding to a call in the area of 25th and Market Streets. To those officers and your families, we are praying for your quick and full recovery, and we are thankful that you are in stable condition. The devastating event in the neighborhood last night is definitely a dark chapter here in Wilmington. But to the Wilmington Police Department and all of the agencies who responded and were involved in the standoff, we thank you for honoring your commitment to protect and to serve. Our thoughts are with the members of law enforcement, the victims, the Wilmington residents who are all grappling with the traumatic events so close to home. And I will speak more to this later. At this time, we will have reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
May 20th, 2021, City Council met on virtual regular session, the above date at 6:30 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding. The opening prayer was done by Kiara Bernardo, Deputy City Clerk. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited by City Council. The following members responded to the call of the roll.
I move that the minutes be accepted as written. So move. Second.
It's been probably moved and second that the minutes be accepted as on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports.
May 10, 2021, President, members of Council, City of Wilmington, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Public Safety Committee by virtual meeting, to whom was referred ordinance number 21-022 entitled an ordinance to amend chapter 2 of the city code to prohibit the establishment of police ticket and arrest quotas. I recommend this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present: Councilwoman Walsh, Councilwoman Dixon, Councilman Johnson, Councilman Spadola, President Congo, absent with leave, Councilwoman Gray.
Mr. President, I move that committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that committee report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
May 10, 2021, we, your Public Safety Committee, by virtual meeting to what's referred to ordinance number 21026, entitled an ordinance to authorize and approve contract 22009 PD between the City of Wilmington and Graves Uniform LLC for police clothing. I've given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
Excuse me, I have to finish reading.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Those members present, Councilwoman Walsh, Councilwoman Dixon, Councilman Johnson, Councilman Spadola, President Congo, and absent Councilwoman Gray.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that committee report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question,
Yes, Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
just like to recognize Councilwoman Gray.
I thought that was a committee for finance. I'm not on that committee. I was excused. I thought she just read.
Public Safety Committee. I just read the Public Safety, ma'am.
I'm not on the Public Safety Committee.
Just a moment. Yes, ma'am, we have you listed for public safety as a member to the Public Safety Committee.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. May I proceed, President Congo?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. May 10, 2021, we, your Public Safety Committee, by virtual meeting to was referred ordinance number 21027, entitled an ordinance to authorize and approve an agreement between the City of Wilmington and Axon Enterprise Inc. for tasers and related services. I've given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present, Councilwoman Walsh, Councilwoman Dixon, Councilman Johnson, Councilman Spadola, President Congo, and absent Councilwoman Gray.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Can I do a point of order here?
Yes.
And I believe we'll have to do the one before us over again because I don't think Councilmember Cabrera is even a member of the committee.
That is correct.
So I make a motion that this one be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a nay vote.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that the report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And for the record, President Congo, would that apply to the one prior to as well for Councilwoman Walsh?
Yes, as far as the members of the committee,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
May 17, 2021, we, your Finance and Economic Development Committee, by virtual meeting to was referred ordinance number 21023, entitled an ordinance to authorize and approve a contract between the City of Wilmington and PMA Management Corp. for third-party claim administrative services. I've given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present, Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Harley, Councilman Field, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilwoman Walsh, Councilman Spadola, and President Congo.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that that committee report be recorded and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
May 24, 2021, we, your Public Works and Transportation Committee, by virtual meeting to was referred ordinance number 21020, entitled an ordinance to authorize and approve contract 22011 PW between the City of Wilmington and James River Solutions for gasoline, heating oil, and diesel fuel. I have given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present: Councilwoman Oliver, Councilwoman Gray, Councilman Field, Councilwoman Fields, Councilman Spadola, absent Councilwoman Walsh, and President Congo.
I move this committee report be received and recorded and filed.
Second.
Second.
Probably moved and second. That committee report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
All the committee reports.
This time, may we have the city treasurer report?
Thank you. June 3rd, 2021. Total investment, $461,427,501.81. Total cash on hand, $14,408,123.40. Grand total, $475,835,625.21. Dwayne Sims, City Treasurer.
I move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the treasury report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. I'll accept the motion to accept all non-legislative business.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept all non-legislative business. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? I believe that Councilwoman Cabrera, you have a presentation and resolution for us.
Yes, Mr. President, we'll proceed. We do have a resolution recognizing Caribbean Heritage Month. I'd like to read it. It's whereas Wilmington City Council wishes to recognize June 2021 as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. This is the 16th consecutive year the United States will celebrate the rich history of the many countries and cultures encompassed in the Caribbean. And whereas Wilmington has a diverse Caribbean community, including organizations such as the Trinidad and Tobago Cultural Association of Delaware, the Caribbean Community Organization of Delaware, the People's Festival, and the Hispanic Caribbean communities. These groups engage the citizens of Wilmington through the arts, cuisine, business, government, sports, and music. Whereas these groups share their culture and service to Wilmington, the Trinidad and Tobago Cultural Association of Delaware has provided scholarships for college-bound students for 16 years. The CCOD was the first to celebrate Caribbean culture by convening Wilmington's Caribbean Festival, and in recent years, they've expanded CCOD to sports to provide access to soccer for youth that brings the small joys of sportsmanship and skill to the main stage. The People's Festival brought the message of one love along with the celebration of Bob Marley and his connection to Wilmington for 27 years. The Hispanic Caribbean communities share their colorful garb, fragrant cuisine, and strength by celebrating their diversity and joining as one. Whereas Eunice Lafayette of the Lafayette Gallery shares her Jamaican heritage through her folk art, which features the landscapes, people, and culture of Jamaica. She has impacted the lives of Wilmingtonians by sharing her talents, her art, and her respect for diversity and inclusion. Through her art, she emphasizes the beauty of human diversity to help empower youth in our city. And whereas the contribution of the diverse immigrants have shaped our democracy, such as Alexander Hamilton, a founding father from the Caribbean island of Nevis. He was the first treasurer of the United States federal government. Our city values and celebrates all who have come and made a positive impact on our community and remind us of our charge to spread love and embrace others, which makes Wilmington a great place to live, work, and play. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this council is pleased to recognize the month of June as National Caribbean American Heritage Month and encourage the citizens of Wilmington to support this initiative. I would like to add my first encounter in working with the mayor's office and special events with the Caribbean organization was their festival that they celebrated at Christina Park. I remember how Miss Jenny Pitts would park in the mayor's office until we agreed to help and co-sponsor the first Marley Festival. It was called that at that time. And when we got both organizations to join and to work together. Eunice is a longtime friend, a very talented artist, and she continues to keep the culture alive in her gallery. And even through the pandemic, she's opened her doors to continue to celebrate the art loop by being open on the first Fridays once it was safe to do so. She is an entrepreneur that reinvents herself, a lot of marketing, a lot of Facebook Lives. Aside from her original artwork, she has many prints and things that she has done to really get the message out there. Most importantly, she started doing a program for children and expanding the arts to our youth. So she has our youth and arts, which have been sponsored by local businesses. She's even done paint nights. So at this time, I would like to have Eunice say a few words about the celebration of Caribbean Heritage Month. She does have an event planned for tomorrow, and this is also being celebrated nationally tomorrow from the White House. She plans to stream that. So without further ado, Eunice, you can tell us a little bit more about your event. And again, we thank you for keeping the Caribbean culture alive through your art and through your events and just continuing to share that message. We can see you, just unmute. Whenever you're ready, Eunice. We can see you, you can speak, Eunice. Eunice. Yes, you can speak, we're ready for you.
There might be some technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Is there any way we could come back to Ms. LaFave?
Yeah, if need be, we can do that.
She's our only.
Is she on?
She's our only guest this evening that's speaking.
Oh, I got you.
Let me try to see if I can reach her by phone. Honey, we can see you, but we can't hear you.
While we are trying to work out our technical difficulties, I would also like to recognize.
She's coming on board now.
Okay, all right.
Council President Trippy Congo, to all the members of the council, I would like to thank you very sincerely for recognizing me this evening. I'm Eunice LaFave, as you know, and I have lived in this city for the last 38 years. And in retrospect, the day I arrived, I took a stroll in my neighborhood. I saw a sign in Holloway Park, and it read, Wilmington, a place to be somebody. That warmed my heart of coming to a community where I think I would thrive, and certainly I have. And over the last 38 years, I have loved this city and defended this city. If you follow me on social media, you can see that. I want to thank Maria, Councilwoman at Large, Maria Cabrera, for recognizing me this evening. and my late and dear husband, Robert LaFate, who used to be the sidekick on these occasions. He must be smiling down on me because when he passed, my siblings wanted to move me to New York. And I prayed and cried and asked the Lord for a vision. He gave me that vision. And the vision was to open the Faith Gallery Vision Center today, which I use for children and the community. So I'm ever so grateful and humbled by all the recognition that I've received in this city. And my goal is to continue to work. I have a lot of talents I would love to share with the city council. So use me as you feel you need my help. I want to thank you once again for the recognition.
Thank you, Ms. LaFate, for joining us this evening. And just want to remind folks that tomorrow at 5 p.m. on the 200 block of Loma at the Eunice LaFate Gallery, she does have an event that's going to celebrate Caribbean heritage. And tomorrow they will also be streaming the event being recognized nationally from the White House. So let's all have a wonderful time celebrating Caribbean Heritage Month in the city of Wilmington in the month of July. Thank you, and that is it for this evening.
Yes, Councilwoman Harley, you want to make some remarks?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Real quick, I do want to thank Eunice for being a beacon of light in the 4th District in the Loma area. I want to say I really appreciate the education, the information, and even the inspiration that we all experience when we come into your gallery, whenever I'm in conversation with you. I just want you to know that all your information, all that you do, and how you try to give back and contribute not only to the 4th District, the Loma District, but to the city of Wilmington. I know you've received several recognitions from me as well, but I guess the practice is that people can just get resolutions, over and over again, but it's all good because you definitely are adding and contributing to our city. And again, thank you for all that you do. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just really like to say, Ms. LaFate, you touched my heart. You were a dear friend of my mother's, and I just would like to congratulate you on this recognition and any other recognition that you have received. This is my first time hearing that you've been recognized, and I just appreciate you for your art. I appreciate what you do for the community. I appreciate you for just telling me when I come into when I came into your gallery, you taught me some things, you showed me some things, and you gave me just a tidbit of your culture and what you and my mother did as far as engaging the community in arts and and just being involved with community engagement. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I'm glad you received this recognition. Might as well give you your flowers while you're living. So thank you so much, Ms. LaFate. I appreciate you. Congratulations. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fields. Councilwoman Oliver.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I also would like to echo what my colleagues have said without further ado. Ms. LaFate knows that I love her. She does a great job in the 3rd District. She lives in the 3rd District, and she has a business in the 4th District. And the only thing I'm going to say is I respect you, and she's a busy lady, and she loves everybody throughout the city of Wilmington, and kudos to you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Oliver. Councilwoman Darby.
Yes, I want to piggyback off of what everyone else is saying here tonight. And I think it's important that we acknowledge people while they're here. I was a little girl who sat in a lot of your classes. I have my family, they're Caribbean, they're Jamaican, they're well connected to you, you're friends to them. And I just want to say, like, this award, this recognition is really needed. And I just want to say thank you for your work and contribution to the city of Wilmington, and it has impacted me. My children have been in your classes, and I'm proud of my background, of my Caribbean background. So I am so happy for this recognition that you're having here today. So thank you for the work that you're doing in our community.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Yes, Miss Eunice, just we could never thank you enough. If we recognize you every council meeting, it still wouldn't be what you deserve. Just want to thank you for your energy that you always bring and the love. It's just like all my colleagues have already talked about. But just thank you. I just look forward to your your art being in our building and our my family's buildings and my home. We love you, and just thank you for everything you do. Just let us know how we can help support you for everything that you've done here for the city of Wilmington. Councilwoman Cabrera.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to add that along with all the other groups that were being recognized here this evening, Miss Jenny Pitts was trying to make the event, but unfortunately she suffered a loss in her family. And as we know, Jenny Pitts was the founder of the Bob Marley Festival back then, now called the People's Festival, and other folks were reached out to, but they were not able to be here. So we are thankful for Eunice for being able to speak, not just on behalf of what she has done, but also the organizations that keep Caribbean heritage alive. But this recognition really is for all these groups that keep Caribbean heritage alive here in the city of Wilmington and in the state. So just wanted to point that out, that Ms. Pitts had just asked me to say thank you to everyone on her behalf.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Cabrera. And thank you again, Ms. Eunice. Also would like to just speak on some other recognitions from council and certain council members from all of council. We recognize National Association for Black Veterans. Councilwoman Dixon recognized National Gun Violence Awareness Day. She also recognized Remand Project Day. All of Councilwoman Oliver recognized Catalyst for Change, Incorporated Girls with Pearls. And there's also sympathy recognitions from Councilwoman Oliver. Dwayne Smith, also Miss Sheila Hale, and Miss Elsie Levon Stewart. All right, at this time we will go to our public comment. And we do have 4 people who have already signed up. Just as a friendly reminder, public comment. If you would still like to sign up, there is a sign up link in the chat for anyone who would like to speak. The time limit is 3 minutes. So please keep your comments relevant to items that are on tonight's agenda and just only direct the president. And I will give you a friendly reminder when there are 30 seconds left for your comments. First, we have Mr. Nate Durant. Thank you for joining us.
I was hoping it didn't say, you're on mute. First off, thank you for having me. My name is Nate Durant. I am the co-head of school at Free Area Charter School in Wilmington. And before I even get started with what I have to say, I just want to thank also Ms. Lafayette for her work. They say, art is the lifeblood of any place. So just thank you for your service and you're appreciated. Again, my name is Nate Durant. I'm a co-head of school at Free Area Charter School in Wilmington. And I just wanted to share, we're having a vaccination block party at the school on Saturday, June 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Originally, this was planned to just be an event for our students, but in thinking about it a little bit more, realized that access is equity. So we really opened it up to the entire community. So anyone who is age 12 plus is eligible to receive the vaccine, and it is free. There's going to be some food, some fun. We got a DJ. We're bringing the whole hood out. So if you know a cousin, uncle, aunt, friend, neighbor, whoever it is, please let them know they can walk straight on in and get the shot if they choose to. If they choose to do that. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but we really want to make sure we're providing access, not just for our school community and our students, but also for the greater community. So it'll be Saturday, June the 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, food, fun, games, music. It's just going to be an all around good time, a block party, because we've been separated for so long. It'll be outdoors, also. Separated for so long, you really want to try to bring the community together. So if you need the vax, we got your back. And you can contact me directly at Nate, N-A-T-E, .Durant, D-U-R-A-N-T, at freearywilmington.org. If you have any questions, want some more information, want to be connected with a doctor to ask some questions, really whatever you need, because our goal is to make sure that everyone in our school community, but also in the city has access to not only the vaccine, but also information around it, because that is truly an issue of equity. So anyone has any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer, and I'm wrapping up with more than 25 seconds left on the clock. So thank you all for having me, and thank you all for having me. And again, please reach out with any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Durant. Thanks for joining us and giving us that, sharing that information with the community. Next, we have Ms. Cheyenne Miller.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Miller. I'm in the 7th District. I am trying to get public comment on the resolution to change the Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights. We're asking the General Assembly to change the Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights. I do want to acknowledge that we did have some tragedies happen in the city that related to police officers being injured on the job and us losing a community member to just, just some tragic violence that happened last night. And so we know that everyone is suffering and struggling, but we don't want our political leaders to take this as an opportunity to show fear or cowardice in what we know needs to happen. And so I really encourage our political leaders to, take the brave move to do what we know is going to help, what's going to help our community. And what's going to help our community is making sure that we're fighting crime by building the relationship between the community and the police officers. So passing this resolution is not just about the idea of holding police officers accountable. It's also about creating trust between police officers and letting them and the community and letting everyone know that this is something that the city of Wilmington wants to be leading on and helping on. And so I'm hoping that we can, ensure that we pass this resolution and show the city, show the state that we want to make moves towards what can be a better relationship between the community and the police, which I believe that Leo Board amendments will allow us to do. And so to be more specific, we know that if the community is able to better trust the police through transparency and accountability, that the community will more likely be willing to work with the police to make sure that crime is not happening. And we also know that when that happens, it will make it so that the streets are safer for our officers as well as our neighbors. And so I want to ensure again that, we encourage all of our legislators to use this opportunity to make a statement, take a stand, support not only our community members, but also support our officers by making sure that the resolution passes and supporting the changes to the Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights that need to happen. Thank you very much.
I thank you, Cheyenne. Just thank you for always engaging with us as City Council, and thank you for being one of our leaders here in the city. Next, we have Anwar Kasim. Anwar Kasim.
Hello, I'm Anwar Qasim.
Kasim. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fine. And I live in Delaware, not in Wilmington specifically, but I'm really interested on the issues that happen in Wilmington, and I'm very concerned about the gun shoots that happen around the stores, where there's a lot of neighbors and a lot of people that can be in danger. And I'm also very concerned about how there has been a lot of conditions where there's like gun shoot that happens, and then when the police get called, I don't see it like a big change. It still happens again and again. So I would I would really like, to see some change and see how that is going to be, developed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Anwar Qasim. We appreciate your concern and your comments. Next, we have Christina Kelly.
Hi, thank you, President Mendoza. Thank you. I kind of wanted to just echo Cheyenne's comments tonight, and just, seek the community support for this resolution. The community, looks to City Council to set the example, and we're, looking at this session as a better session than previous years, and one that's been able to get things done and make moves. And I just again wanted to echo, I hope that we continue to see that tonight, and we continue to see that we're moving forward towards progress, and not giving into fear. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Christina, and thank you also for always engaging with us on City Council and being a leader in the city. And our next and final public comment will come from, I do apologize, last name is Ko.
Yep. My name's Yejun Ko. So I'm here to also speak in support of the amendments to Leobor. Everything that Cheyenne Miller had said, I would like to express support of. I'd also like, I know we had a tragic incident last night, but I would also like you to remember another tragic incident, the case of Lamont Moses. He was shot and killed by police officers, the Newcastle County police officers who were out of their jurisdiction. They released a statement that did not align with the body cam footage when it was released. And now, to my knowledge, the names of the officers who were responsible for his death have not been released, and they are protected by Leobor. We need to be able to hold officers like this accountable. And I think that Leobor, we need to have access to this kind of information and community oversight to have real, I'm sorry, the words are escaping me, to have a real fair justice system. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Adrian. We appreciate your concern. Thank you for engaging with us. And I believe that that's everyone for public comment. Again, we want to thank everyone who joined us this evening to share your concerns with us. At this time, we will move to legislative business.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Gray.
Nothing this evening, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Darby.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21-029, Agenda 0064, an ordinance to amend Chapter 40 of the City Code regarding the elimination of pre-employment drug screening for non-safety sensitive positions.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance.
One second, Councilwoman Darby, sorry. That's the first reading of the ordinance?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 40 of the City Code regarding the elimination of pre-employment drug screening for non-safety sensitive positions.
Second reading of the ordinance. Okay, Councilwoman Darby.
All right, Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Health, Aging, and Disabilities Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Health, Aging, and Disabilities Committee.
Mr. President, I have another ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21-030, Agenda 0065, an ordinance to prohibit the outdoor advertising of alcohol and tobacco products.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to prohibit the outdoor advertising of alcohol and tobacco products.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that that be known as the first and second of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present also.
Resolution 21-031, Agenda 0066. Whereas for more than 50 years, American police officers have been afforded a special layer of employee protection.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that the resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by yea and nay vote. On the question, Councilwoman Darby.
Yeah, so this legislation or resolution is in support of the General State Assembly and making revisions to Leo Board, which is a law enforcement bill of rights, right? So that one of the main two revisions we're looking for that will be impactful to City Council or to Wilmington is that we're looking to have a civilian review board and we got funding for it, right? But one of the problems that we have is that it does not have like the power or merits to do certain things to hold police officers accountable for when, you know, there's misconduct on their end, right? So we are, as a council, I hope like in support of the Civilian Review Board, that we are in support of Leo Board and the revisions just to be able to get police records, right? And be able to do investigations and have a Civilian Review Board to hold police officers accountable when they are on the side of doing something wrong. And I do want to acknowledge the events that happened today, but for me, it was like two different conversations. I hope for a safe and speedy recovery for the police officers, and I send prayers and love to the family. However, this is, to me, a totally different topic in conversation where we're talking about the importance of revision for Leo Board, where it's beneficial for both ends, right? For residents and for police officers to having these revisions where we're able to have accountability and open and honest conversations and dialogue and build trust with the community between police officers. So that's really all I have to say. I can open it up to my colleagues for any comments or thoughts.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Darby. And we will circle back to you. You will be the final speaker on this topic before we go to a vote. Just want to remind my colleagues that everyone does have two opportunities to speak to this legislation. Councilman Johnson.
I have a question for the sponsor. Did you think about adding SB 147 and 148 as well? Was that a thought?
Councilwoman Darby?
Oh, sorry, I didn't unmute. No, I haven't thought about that, but that's something that we can do as long as it's in line with, I really don't follow it by numbers, but as long as it's in line with what we need to make sure that our Civilian Review Board and we can hold police accountable, I'm open to doing that.
Okay, yeah, and the only reason I'm asking, because there is, it's kind of, they're more or less a package. SB 149 is the part for Civilian Review Boards, but SB 147, 148 work at this. So at this time, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. I thank Councilmember Darby for taking this over the finish line. I believe last session we introduced a similar bill. It was just at the end of the session. It didn't get a chance to get over the finish line. So now I'm glad we're picking this back up. We have to acknowledge the time we're in, but this is a very important time. I mean, we live in, and I think today even shows that there's a lot of distrust between the community, and we have a disconnect. We have a lot going on, and we can't stop pushing. And as a big picture, even today, we were supposed to be a press conference, an event with some families who have suffered at the hands of the justice system. And out of respect, it was postponed, simply due because we had this crisis at hand. But don't think for a second that City Council is not hard at work on this. I mean, this is something we didn't just start today. We didn't start last week. We didn't start last month. This has been years in the making. Okay, so and Councilmember Darby, I know, has been working on this as well. So this is something that is just, I think, a culmination of many years of work. And we just need to get over the finish line. We have until June 30th. So we applaud the bravery of our first responders, and we continue to support them. We continue to support programs and initiatives that make their jobs better and safer and make the community safer. And that's what SB 149 does. So we talk about summer and how to cure violence and everything. We can throw programs at it. But the bottom line is the community does not trust police. We can't have safety in our neighborhood. So I applaud this effort, and City Council, I know I am, and I know Councilmember Darby and others, we're going to get this over the finish line, and we're going to be in Dover advocating for these changes. So I thank you very much.
So thank you, Councilman Johnson. Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to extend my sympathies to all injured parties and all families of injured parties. I have total support for Senate Bill 149. And I don't support this bill in malice against police officers. I support it and try to get community agreement. All we're asking for is transparency, accountability, and equity in investigations and in behavior of law enforcement. And I'm asking the friends and family members of law enforcement and law enforcement officers to join us. We used to have this phrase that if you haven't done anything wrong, what's wrong with the investigation? Why do you fear that? So if you're abiding by the rules, why won't you allow us to investigate, to realize that you're doing it the correct way, that your behavior was correct? But we don't know that. And like Councilman Johnson said, there's total mistrust because we are very seldom, if ever, allowed to find out information about the incidents. The tragic incident of yesterday, I'm sure will be thoroughly investigated and the public will know all about it. So why can't we have the same thing happen when citizens are injured by law enforcement? Why can't we have the same level of investigation, the same questions, the same transparency? These are questions to ask yourself. I would hope the families of law enforcement and friends support Senate Bill 149. And we only have 3 weeks. And last night at the Intergovernmental Committee meeting, Hanif Shalom gave out his telephone number because he has a concerted effort of the ACLU, and he's asking people to contact him to help move this initiative and get it passed. So I ask that everyone help get this bill passed, and also SB 147 and 148. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Gray. Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, Council President, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my phone's going in and out. Thank you. First of all, I want to extend my prayers to all.
Councilwoman Harley, your phone is going in and out.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So as I was saying, I wanted to extend my condolences to the families of the officers and my prayers and condolences to the family of the young man and to our city. And my prayers is that we will continue to try to work together and that we will continue to try to move forward as a community and as a city. As it relates to this resolution,
Councilwoman Harley, your phone went out again. Can you hear us, Councilwoman Harley? We'll come back to you, Councilwoman Harley, once your connection is better.
Yeah, okay. All I want to say is that I fully support this resolution. This is work that the 107th session started as it related to a lot of legislation that we passed around more transparency and more accountability as it relates to the Wilmington Police Department, as it relates to the body cams, as it relates to legislation, getting the citizens board in place. So I look at this resolution as a continuation of the work that we started, and I'm very happy that we're continuing it. And most of all, I think that we need to find out from Senator Lockman and Senator Pinckney and State Representative Johnson, what do we need to do to make sure it gets over the fence down there? As we know, this resolution is just a recommendation urging the General Assembly to pass the bill, but we know that down there is where the ball actually goes over the fence. So I just hope that we can reach out to find out what we can do to support them to make sure that this bill gets passed. And thank you, Council Member.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley. Councilwoman Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. If this resolution was simply asking that we do away with the Police Bill of Rights, I would be voting yes, because it has to go into the other areas and simply not just asking for the rescission of the legislation granting the Police Bill of Rights. I can't support it the way it's been written. Even, from the very start to the very end. For more than 50 years, American police officers have been afforded a special layer of employee protections. That was not in the state of Delaware. We've not had it for 50 years. And I just think that we need to be truthful when we send these rescissions down to Dover, and we have to stop giving false hope to people. That people hearing this, they're not going to think in their heads that, okay, we can do this now. We just have to wait for Dover. People want it's immediate satisfaction in our country right now, and in our society, myself included. And that I think something like this just gives false hopes instead of simply saying, we respectfully request the General Assembly to rescind and list all three of the bills if you have to. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Walsh. Councilwoman Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to add also about, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. I did want to add that the last resolution that we sent downstate was basically to repeal the law enforcement bill of rights in its entirety, I believe. And one of the things I did not actually become a co-sponsor on that bill because honestly, I really was, I didn't feel that we would be able to see it through. I did not see it going through. But to be able to start here now, to actually start, I need this, this, and this. I understand where we are when it comes to, our law enforcement. I understand when it comes to Delaware State Assembly and those who are actually serving down there and where they feel about law enforcement. The Bill of Rights in its entirety to be repealed is something that I just did not see happening at that moment. But to be able to start here is a good thing. And I'm glad to be able to add my name to this resolution. We have to start somewhere, and I'd rather get some of this chipped away now and start working towards more than to keep sending something downstate for someone to say no to. So thank you. I will be supporting this resolution.
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy. Councilman Johnson, this is your second go round.
Yes, I just wanted to clear up some, I guess, questions about the technical terms, again, without getting hyper technical. SB 149 in conjunction with 147 and 148 will give us the robust features that we need to really move forward with the city's citizen review board. And I certainly agree with all the comments of my colleagues. We do need to move forward, but I would say, I think this is actually real hope, because if this passes, we can implement a board in the city of Wilmington, and it can happen as soon as this passes. We just have to craft it, and we already have it funded. It was funded in this year's budget. So it is upon us. It's not something that's years down the line. And my concern is that we don't see the sense of urgency, but I think the community gets it, because the sad part is we only have 3 weeks to get it over the finish line. If we don't, we have to wait until the next year. And next year, unfortunately, is an election year for everyone in the General Assembly. And without saying too much, it will be very difficult probably next year to get it passed. So the reality is, this is the time. And this is we're doing in conjunction with everything else. See, we do body cameras, everything else, neighborhood stabilization. This is what's going to solve the long-term issues in our city. And Council President and the rest of Council, we're dedicated to doing what works. And the studies have shown that in communities where there's more transparency, more of a citizen investment in the policing, crime goes down. And so simply looking at the stats, people ask, what is council doing to solve this problem? Is we are pushing legislation and pushing it so that it goes to Dover. You know, City Council, we were the first to push this idea in the state. So let's get this. 108 is serious, and we are doing this together, doing whatever is necessary to stop the violence in our community. So I appreciate everyone, and I hope everyone can support this.
Thank you, Councilman Johnson. Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just going to keep it short and simple. I totally agree with all my colleagues in reference to Senate Bill 147, 148, now 149. As Councilman Johnson said, I think this session 108, we are really serious about, pushing the needle and letting Dover legislations and the city of Wilmington community know that we are trying to make a difference in the reform and the police reform, and we really care about our city. So I'd like to thank Councilwoman Darby for introducing this, adding, amending this or adding it to go along with what's already in Dover that we have already initiated. And it takes a village. So with House Bill 147, 148, now we have 149. I say kudos to you, and let's keep it up. Thank you. And I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Oliver. Councilwoman Gray, this is your second round of comments.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just forgot to compliment the legislators that brought this 149, 147, 48 forward. They're brave. They're doing something against the Delaware way, and I think we should be supportive. But what I want to point out is one way to be supportive is to talk to the community and have them talk to their legislators. They're the ones that are going to vote. They're the ones. They have to be moved by their constituents. That's what works. So that's the reason I encourage all of us who support this to talk to people. If you know your legislator, send a letter, an email, and say, I would like for you to support this. That type of pressure is what will hopefully get it over the mark. So I'm just encouraging people to talk it up, show your support for it, call your legislator and tell them that you want them to vote for this. It will be very, very productive and helpful for our city in fighting crime and renewing trust in law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gray. Councilman Spadola.
Thank you. I think the timing of this is pretty awful. Less than 24 hours after we were literally inches away from burying some of our own police officers. I'm just not in the right headspace to have a conversation about criminal justice reform. And in addition to the reasons stated by Councilmember Walsh, I will not be supporting this either. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Spadola. And I'm not going to repeat the comments from most of my colleagues. I think most of you have it spot on. I will be supporting this resolution. It is definitely a bridge builder. It's not meant to be punitive. It's a relationship builder. But again, I do agree with most of my colleagues. I'm proud to be a co-sponsor. Councilwoman Harley, this is your second round of comments.
That's correct, Council President. Yes, I just wanted to say that I did not mention that I'm already a co-sponsor on this legislation. And I also wanted to say that this is definitely my support of the legislation is not for those that are doing what they're supposed to do. My support is really all about the transparency and accountability. And as Council Member Gray has already mentioned, if everyone doing what they're supposed to be doing, I don't see what the harm is or what the problem would be. And even in light of what's going on, I just feel like if not now, then when? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley. At this time, we'll go back to our sponsor, Councilwoman Darby, for final comments.
Yes, so I want to thank you to my colleagues. Thank you for your comments, for supporting, not supporting tonight. I want to say thank you to the 107th, because as you said, you guys started this conversation, and the 108th, we are going to try to take it to the end in the next few weeks, because June is coming to the closing for General Assembly. And I want to thank the Senate leadership on this. Senator Elizabeth Bachman and Senator Marie Pickney, and also State Representative Kendra Johnson, for even being courageous enough to stand up and say that we're going to put up a legislation to make these revisions to Leah Board. I also want to say that I'm all for repealing the whole thing. As anyone who knows me, I want to get rid of Leah Board altogether, but I am okay with the revisions for now, and later on pushing more buttons. But for right now, this is so key for us being able to have our Civilian Review Board have the power, the authority that it needs to actually be effective, right? So I don't believe in having legislation and passing it and then not being able to actually implement the things that we need to implement to make sure that it's effective and that we're being effective in what we're doing to protecting our citizens. So also it was another comment in regards to where it is on the state level. So it was introduced last week sometime. Now it has to go into on the Senate side to the Judiciary Committee. There hasn't been a date set for the Judiciary Committee for when it's going to be heard in the committee. Then it leaves committee and it goes on Senate floor. After it goes on the Senate floor, then it has to go on the other side. So it's going to have to go through a process within the next 2-3 weeks, hopefully really quick, because 3 weeks, that is a short time span, but hopefully we can get it on both sides and done. So right now there is not a date for the Judiciary Committee. However, I will keep people up to date on my page, on my council page, my personal page. And then there's a campaign against policing. Oh my gosh, don't kill me. I can't think of the name of it, but I'm going to find the name of it and put it in the chat for you guys, hopefully, and you can follow them. They're doing a lot of work in regards to reform and revision around police reform. But this is a relationship builder. This is about community trust. This is for the police officers who are doing things that they're not supposed to do. This is about transparency. This is about doing the right thing. And it's just time to do it. And again, Delaware Campaign for Fair Policing. Someone just texted me. So Delaware Campaign for Fair Policing, follow them on Facebook, and they will give you updates on where it is and how you can tune in, make comments. I know people have been making videos, people have been writing letters. So this is already happening, right? So it's just join to the Delaware Campaign for Fair Policing to get onto that movement. And I want to say thank you. And I guess we're going to open it up for a vote now.
Thank you, Councilwoman Darby. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Present.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I didn't hear that. Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dixon?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
No.
Councilwoman Walsh?
No.
President Congo?
Yes.
10 yeas, 2 nays, and 1 present.
Declared adopted. Councilwoman Darby, do you have any other legislation for this evening?
No, no other legislation. Thank you, Council President.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Oliver.
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and reading.
Ordinance 21028, Agenda 0062, an ordinance to authorize and approve contract 22011 PW between the City of Wilmington and James River Solutions for gasoline, heating oil, and diesel fuel.
I move this be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and be called for a yea, nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea, nay vote. Any question?
Yes, Mr. President, this ordinance has been presented by the administration for council's review and approval. The ordinance authorizing execution of contract 22011 PW gasoline / heating oil diesel fuel between the City of Wilmington and James River Solutions for the period of July 1st, 2001 through June 30th, 2022.
No hands raised. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
13 yeas.
Declared adopted.
Thank you. Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21031, Agenda 0067, an ordinance to rezone a parcel of land located at 3001 Bower Street from a zoning classification of M1 light manufacturing to a zoning classification of R3 one family row houses.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize, an ordinance to rezone the parcel of land located at 3001 Bower Street from a zoning classification of M1 light manufacturing to a zoning classification of R3 one family row house.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move this be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance to refer to community development and urban planning.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21032, Agenda 0068, an ordinance to approve the removal of Mendel Hall Court from the official city map.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to approve the removal of Mendel Hall Court from the official city map.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move this be known for the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 21032, Agenda 0069, whereas the city's comprehensive development plan entitled Wilmington 2028, a comprehensive plan for our city and communities, was adopted by City Council on December 12, 2019. And whereas at its meeting on May 18, 2021, the City Planning Commission by its resolution 2-21 recommended an amendment to the comprehensive plan.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote.
Second.
Okay.
This resolution,
It's been properly
scheduled,
moved in second.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's been properly moved in second. That resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote. On the question?
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution schedules a public hearing on July the 1st, 2021 at 6 p.m. regarding the proposed amendment to the city comprehensive development plan entitled Wilmington 2028 Comprehensive Plan for our city and communities.
All right. Don't see any hands raised. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
yes,
President Congo,
Yes.
13 yeas.
Declared adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 21033, Agenda 0070, whereas contemporaneously with this resolution, an ordinance will be introduced before Wilmington City Council that proposes amendments to the building zone map of Wilmington, Delaware to change the zoning classification of 3001 Barrow Street, Wilmington, Delaware from a zoning classification of M1 to a zoning classification of R3. And whereas at its May 18, 2021 regular meeting, the City Planning Commission by its resolution 3-21 recommended the approval of the rezoning proposed in the ordinance after holding a duly advertised public hearing.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly.
I'm sorry.
And this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote. On the
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution is scheduled for, also scheduled for a public hearing on July the 1st at 6:30 p.m. regarding the proposed rezoning of 3001 Bauer Street, Wilmington, Delaware, being tax parcel number 26-03000-030 from zoning classification of M1 lighting manufacturing to zoning classification to R3 one family row home.
Any hands raised? Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
yes,
President Congo,
Yes.
13 yeas.
Declared adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 21034, Agenda 0071, whereas pursuant to Wilmington Charter, Section 8205, the city may sell or exchange any real estate belonging to the city or grant any license, easement, right-of-way, or other interest over or in such real estate with authority by general ordinance and later resolution from council to do so. And whereas City Code Section 2-626 provides that the Department of Public Works should have the authority to grant licenses, easements, and/or right-of-ways as shall be necessary for the construction, installation, maintenance, repair, operation, and inspection of utilities, subject to the approval of City Council by resolution.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote.
second,
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that this resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote. On the question,
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution approves the third amendment to a license agreement between the city and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC, New Singular, to permit New Singular to continue to operate and maintain communications antennas and related equipment on and about the city water towers located near Newcastle Avenue, Route 9, Wilmington, Delaware, 19720. Sometimes referred to as paper plates. The third amendment will extend the term of the license agreement for 3 additional terms of a 5-year each, commenced in December the 9th, 2001.
okay, thank you. Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Present, yes. Sorry, yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes,
13 yeas.
declared adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. And lastly, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 21035, Agenda 0072, whereas pursuant to Wilmington Charter, Section 8205, the city may sell or exchange any real estate belonging to the city or grant any license, easement, right-of-way, or other interest over in such real estate with authority by general ordinance and later resolution from council to do so. And
I move this resolution. I'm sorry. I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that this resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea and nay vote. On the question,
Thank you, Mr. President. This is City Council authorized the Department of Public Works to execute any and all documents necessary to inflict the granting of such utility assessments in connecting with Delmar Power and Lighting Company and installing, operation, maintaining, and removing of a pad mounted transfer to serve the Brandywine Zoo future quarantine facility. This resolution authorized the Department of Public Works to grant Delmar Power Company certain utility assessment in connections with Delmar Power installation, operation, maintaining, removal pad, transfer to serve Brandywine Zoo future quarantine facilities.
thank you. Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields, Councilwoman Fields, Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh.
Yes.
One more time, Councilwoman Fields. I don't know if she dropped off. President Congo.
Yes,
12 yeas and 1 absent.
declared adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Oliver. Councilwoman Harley.
I don't have any legislation to present tonight, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fields. Oh, she still might be, she still might have a bad connection. Councilwoman McCoy.
Nothing tonight, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Johnson.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a ordinance to present for third and final reading.
Ordinance 21-023, agenda 0055, an ordinance to authorize and approve a contract between the City of Wilmington and PMA Management Corp. for third-party claim administrative services.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea/nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly and moved that this be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance. Call for a yea/nay vote. On the question.
Okay, this is the contract between the City of Wilmington and PMA. This is a third-party administrator contract. So this is the contract that actually covers the city for workers' compensation payments. So the city pays PMA insurance approximately $200,000, and they actually administer our workers' comp claim. So it's not a it's not the actual insurance policy. This is actually the administrator for the claim, and PMA has been serving the city for many years.
Thank you, Councilman Johnson. Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby.
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Field.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera.
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon.
Yes.
Councilman Spadola.
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh.
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
13 yeas.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21-033, agenda 0073, an ordinance to amend chapters 2, 39, and 40 of the city code to change the position of city physician to city medical provider.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend chapters 2, 39, and 40 of the city code to change the position of city physician to city medical providers.
Second reading of the ordinance.
President, I move that be known as the first and second reading and ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
All right, Mr. President, I have another ordinance to present and call for first and second reading.
Ordinance 21-034, agenda 0074, an ordinance to authorize and approve an agreement contract 22017 HRPS between the City of Wilmington and Jackie Jo Lindo, DPN, APRN, FNPEC for medical provider services.
First reading of the ordinance.
In order to authorize and approve an agreement contract 22017 HRPS between the City of Wilmington and Jackie Jo Lindo, DPN, APRN, FNPC for medical provider services.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading and ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finally, I have an ordinance to present. I mean, a resolution to present.
Thank you. Resolution 21-036, agenda 0075, whereas the coronavirus disease 2019 has taken an unprecedented public health, and economic tone communities across the United States. And whereas amid this once in a century crisis, governments have been called upon.
I move this resolution be received and recorded and filed and adopted by a yea nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that this resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea nay vote. On the question?
This resolution is being presented by the administration for council's review to formally approve the city's receipt of the approximately $55 million in American Rescue Funds. And this will this is just as a procedural just matter that needs to be approved so that the city treasurer Dwayne Sims can actually formally accept the wire from Washington, D.C. The ins and outs of it, we went in during the finance committee meeting earlier this month, but just some highlights are that the funding will come in batches. So half of the batch, $26 million, is received this year, and then the other half comes next fiscal year. Okay. Now with this, again, without getting into, because we don't know the specific projects that will be funded, but what we can say is that there's an agreement among council and administration that we're going to work on this as a team with engagement with the city. Some of those highlights that we have are that there will be a website. There will be a website. I don't know if it's live yet, but it will be live soon that will give a tally of exactly what projects or the money has been spent on. There also will be a portion where the public can engage with ideas. And Finance Director Taylor, we went into detail on that we want to hear ideas about how the money can be used to stabilize our neighborhoods. So that's just some highlights. Again, details will follow in upcoming special Finance Committee meetings or regular meetings. We'll give updates as to what the ideas are, but this is a formality for us to accept the funds, and then we can work with the community on how to best implement on spending these funds on long-term projects.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very pleased that HUD is giving Wilmington this large amount of money. But this money is predominantly for housing, for the difficulties in housing, for our under-resourced communities, for AIDS and homeless. So hopefully, since this focus is on housing, we will look at trying to bring our communities up. And the administration has said that they're going to have a website. I have the it's an email where the community can give information, suggestions, problems they think need solving, priorities that they think they want the money used for. It doesn't mean they'll be taken, but we're going to look at these and hopefully work with the administration and decide. But the address, and you can call council and get it again if you don't get it now, is ARP ideas, IDEAS at wilmingtonde.gov. That's ARP ideas, IDEAS at wilmingtonde.gov. So I'm going to say that almost everything in the newspaper has been about housing, the lack of housing, the cost of housing, and almost everyone, including the president, the news journal, are discussing one of the most important components of housing is down payment settlement loan program. So I hope that we will incorporate that in how we spend this money. Home ownership is the vehicle to moving up, the vehicle to having equity. It makes neighborhoods safer. It reduces crime. There's so much related to home ownership that is positive. So we should work on providing the Wilmington citizens, our citizens, this avenue and take away this impediment. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gray. Seeing no other hands raised, Councilman Johnson, did you have any final words before we go to vote?
I have no final remarks, Council President.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
13 yeas.
President,
Adopted.
Council President, I believe that that concludes my items for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Field. Councilman Field, any legislation this evening?
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Cabrera.
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 21-035, Agenda 0076, an ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to revise the timing of appeals related to rental dwellings.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to revise the timing of appeals related to rental dwellings.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee, which will take place on June 10th at 5:30 p.m.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
That is all for me this evening, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Cabrera. Councilwoman Dixon.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 21-037, Agenda 0077, whereas the COVID-19 pandemic continues to ravage the social, economic, and political landscape of the city of Wilmington, and its impact has not yet been fully determined or realized.
Mr. President, I move that this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea vote. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that this resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote. On the question?
Yes, Mr. President, this is a healthy aging subcommittee that was actually recommended to me by a resident in the city of Wilmington in regards to trying to make sure that seniors have the appropriate advocacy, but also action to go along with the work that needs to be done in the city of Wilmington around seniors. So this will be a subcommittee that is focused on empowering, having direct and connect service, senior serving organizations in Wilmington. It will serve as a subcommittee to our Health, Aging, and Disabilities Committee. Wilmington residents, Wilmington-based senior serving organizations, agencies, and issue area experts will all be a part of this committee. There will be a committee of appointed of 11 commissioners that will be a part of it, where we have designated co-chairs for it as well. They will meet monthly with additional meetings if they need it, as deemed as necessary. They will follow all the FOIA guidelines, and they will be helping with making policy recommendations, identifying the needs of seniors, and whether those needs will be fulfilled by existing initiatives, and recommend nominees to the Wilmington Health Planning Council. So the main point of this, again, is that it's not as a more so a vehicle for our residents to take the lead on, as far as the senior activities and making sure it's taken care of. And we are allowing some council members on it as well. But I wanted to definitely be a vehicle that is driven by our residents. So I will end there. Thank you.
I thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, Council President. So first of all, I want to thank Councilmember Dixon for sponsoring this resolution and having great relationships with all the key contact coordinators within the 4 high rises in my district, being Hurley, Compton, Windsor, and Sacred Heart 1. I would definitely like to be support to this subcommittee. For the last 5 years, I've been working with them and hearing their interests and issues and concerns. I will say that I am hopeful that we will be able, I'm saying we because I'm a council member, not necessarily putting myself on the committee, but I'm saying that hopefully we will be able to make some headways outside of or in addition to some of these high rises. As you know, they have management guidelines and property management guidelines that must be followed. And so as council members, you know, I think it's just always appropriate that we work with those that have the management and those that have the authority to make things happen. And like I said, I'm only speaking from experience, having 4 high rises in the 4th district, working with individuals. There are a number of things that happen. Wilmington Housing Authority, they're the gatekeepers. And then some of the other ones are owned by Brother Ron, and then the property management at Windsor. So sometimes it just gets a little, you know, murky when some of these areas are outside of our lanes of authority. But like I said, I'm hopeful that we will be able to work with them to support our seniors and be able to move some things forward. So thank you. And I look forward to hearing more about it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley. Councilwoman Fields.
Thank you, Council President. Councilmember Dixon and I, we had already had a previous conversation, and she know I am in full support of just supporting our seniors. Sometimes they think they are the forgotten population, and they are the forgotten members of our community. So I just think I think it's going to be beneficial for us as council and beneficial for them as residents of the city of Wilmington to know that we are here for them, that we're going to support them, we're going to hear their voices, and we're going to be advocates for them. So for them to take charge of this subcommittee, I think it's going to give them ownership. And I believe that with that being said, we are going to make we're going to make some strides in our community. 108, we're definitely moving forward. We're definitely taking action. And again, my seniors are my babies. They know that's what I call them, but I call my seniors my babies. And I have 3 high rises. So, and I was always around seniors no matter what. So I just want to say that thank you, Councilwoman Dixon, for bringing this resolution forward. You already know we had this conversation. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's do what we need to do for my babies. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fields. Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too echo, thank you, Mr. President. I too echo my council members, but I have to say that, you know, that is the purpose of the Aging and Health Committee, for us to have these type of discussions. I'm definitely for a subcommittee, but sometimes I look at that as if we as Councilwoman Harley said, sometimes you start stepping over your authority, or you just start calling people, asking people to be on this committee, and then it becomes an outside agency. And that's why we were voted as council members to be on these committees and have these discussions and have people come to our committee meetings and engage with the neighborhood planning. So sometimes, and not that I'm against it, I think this is a great thing, but sometimes you start, you know, adding some of these committees and it's just a whole nother entity to it's a duplication of what we're already doing. I know we had did it in 107, and I think that I think it worked out well. But sometimes you look at it, and I have to be honest, that you just start making up your own agenda. And I think as council members, sometimes we need to, you know, stay with the agenda that we have. But anything that relates, and if you know, if you have the time to have all these additional extra meetings, it's fine with me, and I'm in favor of it anyway. But someone had mentioned that to me, so like I said, I'm just a voice for the people. But with that being said, I think it's a good thing. and it's never enough, I guess, if that's the way you feel. But like I said, I'm also 150% in favor of it. But as I said, someone mentioned that to me, so I wanted to just mention that, and good luck.
Thank you, Councilwoman Oliver. Councilwoman McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. What I basically wanted to add was I asked, as a member of that committee, whether or not I was required actually to be part of the subcommittee, because I was part of the last subcommittee that we had in 107. And the question was basically, the answer was basically no, I'm not required to do it at all. And as a matter of fact, if we wanted to, from what I'm understanding, the committee chair wanted to be more so run by other entities so that we would definitely hear their voice. I do want to make certain that we put it out there. When it comes to our committee meetings, they are great places to sound off. They're great places to present. But because of FOIA, we are not allowed. And I've actually tried to do this in the last term. Even though a lot of times we have the right committee meeting to actually express what's going on in our neighborhoods, if it's not on the agenda, we cannot express that. And so sometimes you need these subcommittees to be able to have the correct conversation about certain topics, and that can actually finally get to be on the agenda. So I applaud Councilman Dixon for getting this done. I know that she doesn't want to add another meeting. God knows I don't think nobody wants to, but we want to make certain that those the voices actually are being heard. They keep saying we hear you, but it's been a long time, and I don't have a high rise in my district, but I've been hearing people for a long time complaining. So I hope that all these other council people, they finally get a chance to hear specifics on what they would like to see done. That's all.
I thank you, Councilwoman McCoy. Councilwoman Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, you have a low rise in your district, Councilmember McCoy, with Maplewood. I want to piggyback on what Councilmember Oliver was saying, that this is a fine idea. Anytime we can do anything for the seniors, because I view seniors in our buildings, especially as voiceless people, almost like children. They need to have other people be the voices for them. But what I see, because this is part of our job and part of the city's job, and so besides council and now this committee, we also have the planning council, which many people don't hear anything from the planning councils anymore. So do we just keep adding more and more bureaucracy on top of things? I don't see any reason to not support this. But that's what just bothers me about government in general, not just our government, all governments. Sometimes when we can't do things the way we want to do them, we just add another layer of bureaucracy on top of it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Walsh. Councilman Johnson.
This is again a follow-up to, I think, Councilmember Walsh, kind of talking about just procedural. I don't know, and this is a question directed to the chairwoman, is the Healthy Subcommittee going to be restarted for the 108? Because I don't recall seeing any information on that. So I just wanted to see if that's going to be added in tandem with this one, and so they can work as a team.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Johnson. We'll go back. We'll circle back to Councilwoman Dixon.
Okay, that was just the question I was throwing out there. I mean, I'm supportive of it, but yeah, I just I want to be aware of what committees are even out there and what's planned, so I can direct residents to those committees.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, and I just wanted to make mention that I have not been hearing, and these are my high rises, and I know that there's high rises all over the city of Wilmington, but I have not been hearing any serious complaints from the high rises that are in the 4th district. And so I'm just trying to understand if what the guidelines are. Are we looking at reaching out to those individuals where there are issues or complaints? Because I can also see where it can start, getting a little confusing for some of the residents in terms of where and who to reach out to. And so it just seems like that if there was some issues, it would have been a good idea for us to try to address some of these issues collectively together. And then if it evolved into, oh, this needs to carry on, and if there were issues that could not be addressed for whatever reason, then I could see carrying things into maybe possibly a subcommittee. But I just always think that if there are issues, we should have been addressing them right now and get into the root of them right now. And if there's opportunities for us to sponsor legislation, like, why wait when we could do it now? So this is my first time hearing about it. And then, like I said, I'm not saying that there are no issues in my district. I'm saying that I have not heard from anyone in my district because, again, I'm in contact with the coordinators and they're the ones that get complaints from their residents, and they know that I'm a phone call and an email away. So that I just wanted to share that. And make that public as it relates to what's happening in the relationship that I have with those that are in the 4th district. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley. Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I must say that I have a high rise and a low rise. And from day one of campaigning, I have gotten complaints, and they know my number, and that's the reason I get these complaints. And I am working with them to resolve it, but a subcommittee that would empower the seniors to be able to resolve things themselves, I can only say positive things about that. But it is complicated, and I did start out, as everyone's talking about, with the base level management, and we're working our way up. But yes, there have been a lot of complaints in my district about my high rise. And the main complaint is the lack of security. And it's only 2 blocks from the incident last night. So they have a true problem. So I'm definitely in support of this subcommittee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gray. Councilwoman Darby.
Yes, I just want to say that I'm in full support. In my district, I'm in the 2nd district. I have high rises and senior homes, and we're getting a new one with the Villa Marie soon within the next, hopefully 2 years. So I'm in full support of making sure that our elders have a voice and that we're able to highlight some of their issues, because I think it gets overlooked a lot. We talk about youth, gun violence, and different things, and we miss out. So I think it's important, and I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Dixon for getting this set up, because it also helps me refocus and reset, because I can be, concentrating on gun violence and youth and miss the conversation about like that our elders need support and concentration and focus on too. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Darby. Councilwoman Cabrera.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what some of my council colleagues have said. And yeah, the complaints, there's a lot of complaints. And most recently, I've been working with Councilman Spadola and some other members of council to bring to their attention letters that the members of Luther Towers just got, asking them for back rent or rent that they all have receipts that they paid. The complaints that I hear is that they're being treated as if they were children, that management doesn't respect them. It's just, there's a lot going on. So I think that we do need to address these issues because they are our constituents, bring it to the proper authority so that something is done. And regardless of whether they have the councils or what outlets they have, right now they don't feel like, who can they speak with? They don't feel like their voices are being heard. Today's latest complaint is that the residents are being told that they can't park in front of the building, and these are handicapped residents where there should be parking allotted for handicapped residents. I've yet to look into it because that email came across, or that message came across today. So I think that, yes, we do need to pay special attention to our seniors. So often they're left out of the conversation. And, you know, not only that, they're our #1 voters. They're always consistent and they're always there when you need them, voice of advice and reason and the voice of the ages. So we should at least show some respect by making sure that their living conditions and their needs and accessibility are being attended to. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cabrera. Councilwoman McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that I think that where I kind of jumped off at may have led down the wrong road when it came to complaints, but also we would love to hear our seniors' ideas. So the thing is that it's not so much as in this is going to be like a complaint board or a sounding board for complaints, but if they believe that there's something that they require that we have not thought of, or someone else has not thought of, like bring it to that board and see whether or not, you know, people, those people can actually figure out a way to get that to them. It seemed when I actually was on that meeting, and those are the things that they were talking about, you know, people wanted to make certain that all those ideas were, you know, expressed, not just a complaint or whatever, but all the ideas when it came to the seniors, and make certain that they, those that were the most important were taken care of. So I just wanted to make certain that people knew exactly where I was coming from when they talked about the seniors. And I still am in support, definitely in support of this resolution. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman McCoy. Councilwoman Fields.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just want to say, I didn't take it as, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off of Councilwoman McCoy. I think it's not so much of a I don't think I'm hoping it's not going to be so much of a sounding board, but it's going to give our seniors the opportunity just to talk to us and give us ideas. That's where our wisdom comes from. It comes from our seniors. So it doesn't always have to be a complaint. It doesn't always have to be something negative. They can be providing us with some positive feedback to where it could be beneficial to them as well as council, or as well as the other residents in other high rises and things like that. I think that we as a council and as a people, we need to start looking at the glass half full instead of half empty. And I mean, I know, everybody has their differences about a subcommittee, but let's give it a try. If it doesn't work, then we can say it didn't work, but let's give it a try first. Let's see what we get from it. And I'm hoping for a positive outcome. I'm hoping that we get the positive feedback as well as the negative feedback. And the only way that we're going to grow as a council and as a people is by, taking the good with the bad. And we know it's always some bad, but we have some smart seniors too. We have some active seniors. We have some seniors that want to do exercising, that want to do walks, that want to participate, but they just need a voice. They just need somewhere to say, hey, I'm here. So that's what I'm hoping the subcommittee provide for our seniors. Not so much a complaint, because we know that they have those. We know that there's other agencies. We know that the buildings that they live in, we know that there's protocol and different things like that. But we just want to hear what they have to say and see how we can assist them. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm definitely in support of this resolution. I was merely making a statement that I can see where the subcommittees can be out of control. If I had a whole bunch of high risers or a major amount of seniors in my district, I would be able to be focused and I should be in touch with them. I have to agree with Councilwoman Harley. So you bring all these experts in, and this is my opinion. I'm in favor of it, but I'm still gonna speak for my mind. But you start bringing, people from Christianity Care, all these extra experts. But the people voted you in as a council person. If you have seniors, which I have a few of them, I have 2 high risers. I'm in touch with my high risers. I'm in touch with my seniors. Not saying it's a bad thing. Sometimes we can agree to disagree. But I just say sometimes you get into these subcommittees and you bring people in and they start doing your job for you. And the next thing you know, your mind is twisted and you look up and you're all the way over there. But I'm in favor of it. It has my vote. I just made a statement. I didn't mean to blow it out of proportion, but that's just how I feel about it. So thank you so much.
I thank you, Councilwoman Oliver.
And by the way, and by the way, most of the people that's on these subcommittees don't even live in the city.
I thank you, Councilwoman Oliver. I will be supporting this. I think it's an awesome idea. We have to make sure that our seniors are taken care of. I think that we also have to make sure that we're working with the administration to make sure that we are, and our delegates in Dover, a delegation in Dover, to make sure that we're holding some of the owners of these high rises who are from out of town accountable for how the seniors are living in their buildings. So I think it's a great idea. I'm not going to repeat everything that was already said, but I'm in full support. Councilwoman Dixon, did you have any final statements?
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on some of the comments from my colleagues. I just wanted to tell you where this started. So one, this started from a resident asking about how residents can be more engaged and how they can help advocate and work in an actionable way to help other seniors in the city. So the only way that I felt like we could potentially help support that was to make it into a subcommittee, so that there was a way for seniors to have an opportunity to actually have a voice in what we're doing as far as legislators. It's not to take away the work that we're doing or not doing. It's more so about the fact that, and I know she probably wanted to speak today, but I know we don't have folks that can speak during the legislation. But it was brought to my attention by a resident. So that was the reason why, and that she wanted to, and this is also different from the previous subcommittee, because that was led more so by the work that was being done by the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. And the chairs pretty much were us, as well as the others partners around a table. The difference around this one is that it is led by residents, and that it's not led by council. And we had brought up about the high rises, WHA. They just wanted to be a support system to the seniors who are within the high rises, who are within private residencies that are in Sacred Village and some of these other opportunities to really get the voice out of these individuals. It is not about, I would say, the issues that are existing at all times, but it's for opportunities to see where we can be supportive to seniors in general and not just issue-based. So this was not to start it because it was issue-based, but and to answer your question, Councilman Johnson, the Healthy Community Subcommittee has not been added in this 108th session. So that committee is now dissolved as of the end of 107th session. So it's different. And again, this was to be an added support to the seniors, not to be an added meeting for council members per se, because I heard that from a number of council members, that this is another committee that's being added for us. And that's the reason why I said that it is going to be led specifically by residents, and that the residents and the folks who are leading it will help nominate the individuals for it that want to be on a committee. But I just want to say that is where it stemmed from. The residents asked, so I wanted to give them a platform in order to do that. And the subcommittee was one of the reasons why it was created for that capacity. So again, this is not an issue-based committee. This is something that is for solutions and for action that the committee members themselves can actually do. If they want to take care packages to Wilmington senior high rises, if they want to do those kind of things, they can do that through the committee. They just ask for a platform, and this was a platform that I asked to give them. So I understand people's concerns, and I hope that it can be a support to you. If it can't, I'm sorry, but that is the reason why this subcommittee was created in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
No.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
thank you. Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
No.
President Congo.
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 nays.
Declared adopted. Any other legislation, Councilwoman Dixon?
No, that is it for me this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Spadola?
Council President, I'm going to hold my ordinance until the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Walsh?
Yes, Mr. President, I have a couple pieces. Thank you.
Resolution 21038, Agenda 0078, whereas pursuant to Section 2363 of the City Code, the council deem it necessary and proper to specify the requirements for review and approval of city-sponsored grant applications and proposals, including authorization for expedited grant applications when necessary prior to council's approval by resolution.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the reading of the resolution, that it be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by yea, nay vote.
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea, nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President, this is a grant from the state of Delaware from something called the Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund for $123,000. $80,000 of this is going to be for 2 unmanned aerial vehicles, including the batteries, accessories, and warranties, and the to be utilized by their forensic unit. And the other part of it is going to be used to upgrade an existing vehicle within the police department to make it capable of transporting unmanned aerial vehicles. So it's a grant. There's no matching money. That's it.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Walsh. Councilwoman Gray?
Yes, are these drones? That's a question.
Yes, they are.
Does the city already have drones?
I think we do. I'm not definite on that one, but I for some reason, I think we do. I think we have 2 of them.
I just found out, which I'm not going to reveal here, a new use, which I applaud, and it is going to address some complaints in my community. And I'm against new toys for the police, but this one seems to be a really advantageous to the community and stopping a problem. So I'm supportive, I'll say, of the drones. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Gray. I don't see any other hands raised. Councilwoman Walsh, did you have any final comments?
Nope, thank you.
All right, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
No.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon.
Yes.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy, one more time.
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Thank you. President Congo.
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 nay.
Declare it adopted. Councilman Walsh, do you have more legislation?
I have an ordinance to present.
Ordinance 21-026, Agenda 0060, an ordinance to authorize and approve contract 22009 PD between the City of Wilmington and Graves Uniforms LLC for police clothing.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance. I call for a yea nay vote on the question.
Mr. President, this is a heftier amount of money, and it's for $99,038.50. And this is basically providing the uniforms for the police department.
Councilwoman Walsh, I'm not sure if it's my speaker, but it's kind of hard to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this any better? Much better.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. This actually provides the clothing for the police officers. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. They're uniforms. And it's a contract which can be extended for 2 others for a period of 1 year.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any other hands raised. Clerk,
It's real
please call
money.
for the
We're
roll.
not getting a grant on this. I'm sorry, Mr. President. It's real money. This is not grant money.
Okay, thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Yeah. Councilwoman Gray.
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby.
No.
Councilwoman Oliver.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Field.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera.
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon.
Yes.
Councilman Spadola.
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh.
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 nay.
Declared adopted.
Ordinance 21-027, Agenda 0061, an ordinance to authorize and approve an agreement between the City of Wilmington and Axon Enterprise Inc. for tasers and related services.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the enacting clause of this ordinance and call for a yea nay vote.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that be known as the enacting clause of this ordinance and call for a yea nay vote on the question.
Mr. President, this is a 5-year contract for us for the purchase of tasers. At the end of 5 years, we'll have caught up and probably purchase tasers for the entire department. As the entire department has them now. I think there were 5 that didn't have them as of a couple weeks ago, but the rest of the officers do have them. The fiscal impact of this is being spread out because it's a 5-year contract. And instead of purchasing the tasers when they break down, 2 here or 5 there or 6 further down the line, if we just do this contract, it will save us a fair amount of money. So at the end of the day, it's going to cost $1,043,000. With that payment is divided over the 5-year term of the contract.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Walsh. Councilwoman Oliver.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to say I'm in full support. I think this is a good thing. I'd rather take tasers over guns any day. And I was in conversation with the police station, and as the sponsor said, I think it's only about 4 or 5 of them without tasers now. So hopefully we can use tasers opposed to using bullets. So I will be voting yes on this piece of on this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Oliver. Seeing no other hands raised, Councilwoman Walsh, any final comments?
Nope, that's it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
No.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilwoman Dixon,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Walsh,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
12 yeas and 1 nay.
Declared adopted. All right, this time we'll move to petitions, communications, starting with, want to go in reverse order, starting with Councilwoman Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really don't have anything to say tonight other than we absolutely do need to find some solution to healing our city. And I just don't know what the answer is anymore. Not that I probably ever did. But it's just not one issue. It's just not the police, and it's not the kids on the corners. It's not all of those things. It's a combination of so many things rolled together, and especially for our children in the city who almost from birth have no shot at all because they're thrown into crummy schools. They just kind of have life against them, so many of our children, from the beginning of their lives. And until we're ready to have the full conversation from birth on, then we're never going to solve our problems. So I hope we can get groups together that are going to be willing to sit down and do that. And I hope to see it in my lifetime. But that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman
And
Walsh.
I ask to be excused.
Yes, may be excused. Thank you. Councilman Spadola.
Thank you, Council President. Today was very heavy. I'm sure we all felt that way. Well, I hope we all did. When 3 of our own are nearly killed on purpose. It's a dark times in our city, and I think it should be a wake-up call that the criminal justice system is totally failing us here in Wilmington. It's failing our police officers who have arrested well over 100 people for gun crimes, and the criminal justice system puts them back out on the street on bail. And the attempted murderer tonight, just a quick Google of him. I found in 2010 he was involved in an armed robbery where at Favors Liquor Stores, and one of his accomplices was murdered by the clerk. So this is a guy who is no stranger to the criminal justice system, and almost took 3 lives last night. So this is a cry to the judges when they're issuing their sentencing, to the AG's office. We need your help. Loretta, Councilwoman Walsh was right. I mean, systemically, a lot of things need to change as well. But right now, when we're dealing with the system, if dangerous people are doing dangerous things, they need to be locked up. Lives depend on it. And, it's dark times. And my thoughts are with Wilmington Police. And, God bless them, and hope they stay safe. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Spadola. Councilwoman Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also just wanted to offer my sentiments for all the issues that happened between last night and this morning on both sides. That, as my colleagues already said, we have a lot of work to do in the city of Wilmington, and crime, and as long with poverty, and a lot of that stems from the result of crime and violence. So we have a lot of work to do. I also just wanted to mention that because we are in the realm of gun violence, that this weekend we have a lot of events that are happening. So there's a Together for a Safer Delaware that is ran by the Delaware Coalition Against Gun Violence. That'll be on Saturday, June 5th. From 9 to 11 a.m. at Eastside Charter School. And it will also be at 9 a.m. there'll be a community resource fair. And then there'll also be at 10 a.m. There'll be remarks and calls to action. So there are also, and I'll allow my other colleagues to give the update for Sunday's events that are happening with Moms Demand Action. But this is the time where we can all get engaged as stakeholders in the city to make sure we can make a change. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Dixon. Councilwoman Cabrera.
Thank you, Council President. As my council colleague mentioned, there are a lot of events going on this weekend as we try to bring attention to ending gun violence here in our city and nationwide, where we've seen so many mass shootings and just it's only been, almost 6 months into the year, and there's been so many of them. And just this past week, it's just been horrendous. So yes, thank you, Councilwoman Dixon, for allowing me to speak about Moms Demand Action. And they're having their event at the Trinity Episcopal Church on Delaware Avenue and Adams Street at 2 p.m. on Sunday. They have a survivor garden made with rocks and some plants. We're asking folks to come to wear orange. As you see tonight, many of our council members are wearing orange. Our council president has a dashing orange tie on, and we are just bringing that attention. So orange is the color that we want you to wear as we bring attention and awareness to this. So I hope to see members of the community out and about. All are welcome. I also want to remind you that June 10th is the Community Development and Urban Planning meeting, and we encourage your participation as we have some important agenda items and we would like to have your feedback. On June 12th, Saturday, for Father's Day weekend, when I got my first vaccination a couple weeks ago, I wanted to bring attention, especially to the Hispanic community, and lead by example. As a Latina, how important it is to get the vaccination. So many people are still with the misinformation and unsure whether to get the vaccine. So right now, the percentage numbers in Delaware, the Hispanic community is the lowest group of people with the vaccination. So in doing so, our television channel, WITN, and the crew came out. They recorded it in conversation with Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long. We talked about how we can put a greater emphasis and lead by example. So I knew before this was over, my second vaccination was going to be a special event, and so it is. So on Saturday, June 12th, at Woodlawn Park, between the hours of 1 and 5 p.m., Westside Health is going to be conducted vaccines. In addition, the Roberto Clemente League is hosting the event. We'll have food. They'll have a coach and parents game. We have the radio station, 104.1 Maxima, will be doing a live broadcast. Telemundo is coming from Philadelphia, so the TV station's coming. Hoy in Delaware, the Latino paper. And again, this is for everyone in the community, but we are trying to push having this event to encourage the Latino families to come out. We have Guerrilla Republic and other members of the community that are coming on board to sponsor this. There will be incentive cards being given out that day, as well as meals to the first 50 people who get a vaccination. And City Council under President Congo today, we spoke, and City Council is on board. This will be one of the events that we're encouraging all council members to come out to participate, encourage opportunities for us to come together, as well as to interact with the community. So I'm thankful for his support and all the council members that will be available to come out that weekend. So we are really labeling it a Father's Day event. And where would the families be without the father, especially the Latino families who really do count on that man of the house for the income when many of the wives stay home. So we want to have them lead by example and to be leaders in their family to come out and get vaccinated. So that is what we're doing. And I hope that you will all be there on Saturday, June 12th, as we celebrate fathers, as well as getting the vaccine so we can stay alive. And last but not least, obviously the events of today are weighing heavy on all of us as this could have been very differently. This could have ended differently, and we could have lost any one of our police officers there through the overnight activity. So we are thankful that the officers are recuperating. One is home, 2 are still in the hospital with some surgical procedures that took place. So we have to assure the community around, because they are scared. Many of them are seniors that live in that neighborhood. It's a densely populated community. They still need information. So I encourage all of us as leaders to get out there to talk with them, answer their questions, and encourage them to call our victims unit, because when there is a crime, when there is any kind of incident like this, people are traumatized. And I did hear today from folks on how they were feeling. So let's encourage folks calling in, talking to that unit, and for us, even as leaders, to be there out and about and encourage, answer the questions, just to show our faces. That would be great. Thank you so much. That is it for me.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cabrera. Councilman Fields.
Nothing to add tonight, Mr. President. Everybody keep up the hard work.
All right, thank you. Councilman Johnson.
The only event I have on my calendar is for the community on the west side. There is the Greek Festival is back. It is running through currently today through Saturday, June 5th. It is at from 11 a.m. to 7:30. Now, since we are coming out of COVID, this is a revamped, more of a grab and go style. But I do have good work from the organizers that they are planning a fuller event this upcoming September. So again, this is very exciting times for our city as we try to get back to normal. The Greek Festival, as well as many other festivals, are part of the fabric of what makes Wilmington great. So please come out, enjoy some goods again, and then come back in September for the bigger event. The only other thing I think it's already been touched upon is the tragic events that have occurred. And I would just say, not just last night, but over the course of the past year in our city, we definitely need to take an approach. And, we just inform the public that we are leaving no stone unturned. As you see, gun violence needs to be approached from a public health perspective. It's an epidemic, it's a disease. And so unless you properly treat that disease, we're not going to have easy answers. If the answers were simply locking people up, then in the 90s, we had the rise of mass incarceration, we would have safe neighborhoods. That doesn't work, actually, and there's a reason why we are where we are. So we must use other solutions to really heal our community. And so on City Council, we are talking to the gun violence activists, we're talking to scientists, we're talking to any public health experts to come and help our city. And just to let you know, that's the perspective we're taking with 108 is we're not solutions. We're going to really be out with what will actually help. And these tragedies will hopefully happen less and less, and we can heal our city. So I appreciate the work of everyone. We're looking at different ideas in terms of stabilization funds and how we can use those for anti-violence measures. I know that's been mentioned. So those of you who missed the Finance Committee, we have some concept that some of it can be used for violence prevention. So we're going to look at everything and really looking at rebuilding our neighborhoods from the ground up. So, we appreciate the input of the public and in terms of how we use these COVID relief funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Johnson. Just want to remind all council members who are not speaking to please mute your phones. Please mute your phones. Councilwoman McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to make an announcement that I will actually be having basically a Park on June 5th, which will be this Saturday at 8 a.m. We will be finishing up a community project that we have started on community cleanup / project day. And I'm still looking for more volunteers. Right now, I think I have about 6 adults. I think maybe 8 to 10 will really knock this out in the time frame that I'm looking forward to. I think it is going to be a warm day on Saturday, so that's the reason why I'm starting as early as 8. We will be providing refreshments, and and it's also a very cool spot that we're going to be working on. So I do hope that someone, so I can get those 2 to 4 more adults to participate. The other thing also, I did want to state, one of my council colleagues kind of brought it up about fireworks. I had did some research about fireworks last year. Last year was a really crazy year for fireworks during this time frame. And one of the things I do want to remind our public is that while fireworks are legal and that you can actually start to purchase them 30 days before July 4th, the only fireworks that are actually legal in the state of Delaware are the novelty, the sparklers, little smoke things or whatever. Anything that is aerial, meaning that it flies or explodes, is actually still illegal in the state of Delaware. So one of the things that I'm looking to do, as I did last year, is provide flyers to educate our our neighbors, and kind of like entice them to come get that by getting a water ice. So that's something that I'm looking forward to doing soon, just to make certain that we don't have any accidents or anything, and that everyone is well educated about what to do and what fireworks safety looks like. The last thing I wanted to talk about was actually, that the tragic event that happened last night. I am pleased. Thank you so much, Councilmember Cabrera, for giving us a little bit of an update, letting us know exactly what was going on with our officers. I'm glad that they are recovering. I'm glad that one is actually already home. I'm like, this was a very, it was a very traumatic day. I have to state, I was a little bit more traumatized though, that one of my colleagues actually Googled that information and put that information on our actual meeting, because 2010 was a long time ago. We don't know what happened from 2010 to 2021. And I just would like to let the police officers do their investigation and get that information, and so that we can find out where we are, like what happened, what caused it, and be done with this. I just feel like so many times things occur, and all we see in the newspaper, whatever, is, oh, this bad dude or whatever. But to me, it gets to be more so about, unfortunately, our brown and black people get that lineup of what all the things that we've done wrong in the paper, whereas though others, basically, we don't know what happened to our valedictorian and shot up the school. So I just wanted to make certain that it really stuck in my craw when I heard that, and I had to say something about it. I just would rather have left all that information out and just make certain that we were praying for the families of our officers that were injured, and also, the condolences to the family that lost that man. I'm like, because who knows what happened and who knows how they're feeling. So that's basically all that I have to say.
Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy. Yes, Councilman Spadola.
Since I was addressed, can I respond to that, please?
Not right now. Gotta keep moving.
Not right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, we were defending somebody. Were we really just defending somebody who shot 3 cops? That is disgusting. I am sickened.
So y'all just let them talk? Let that have been.
It's out of order.
Point of order.
Out of order.
Point of order.
Said something.
Point of order, everyone. At this time, we're going to go to Councilwoman Fields.
Yes, thank you, Council President. First, I'd just like to thank you and thank all my colleagues for all their, for everything that they said, how things have transpired in the next couple of days. But I just have a few things that I want to go through, and a couple of announcements. So the first announcement that I have is the Frontline Trotter Waymaker Foundation, along with Christ Embassy of Delaware, Pastor Phyllis, will be helping families will be feeding families that's going through the COVID-19 pandemic, and some of the homeless underneath the 95 bridge between Madison and Jackson Street this Saturday from 11 to 2. The food is already cooked. It's already prepared. We're just asking everyone to just come through, grab a plate, maybe feed somebody, take a couple of plates and feed other people throughout the neighborhood, throughout your neighborhood. Take some food to an elderly person. The Waymaker Foundation is just wanting to go back to feeding our community. So that will definitely be happening from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it will be authentic Caribbean food and African food. So this will be a different taste for everyone. So I'm just hoping that I can get some council members that might come through, come pick up a couple of platters and take them to some homeless or take them to some shut-ins. My next, hold on, okay. So my next thing is Pride Month. This month, June, is Pride Month. And I spoke to one of the board members of the new Estres Riaz Board of Directors, and they are having this is going to be their second annual Loot for Love rally on June 26th, and it's taking place in Wilmington, Delaware, between 2nd Street and 12th Street. They're asking for sponsorships. They're trying to raise $5,000. Yeah, $5,000. And I will definitely send this flyer around to my colleagues to see if anybody would be interested in sponsoring, to see what the sponsorships are, and possibly, still giving out to this organization. Love is love, and I'll just say that, love is love. Also, let's not forget Juneteenth is coming up. So we have, we have on Monday, June 7th at 12 p.m. at the Route 9 Library and Innovation Center. They will be raising the flag, the Juneteenth flag. CDC guidelines will be followed and seating is limited. And on the day that Juneteenth is observed, on Saturday, June 19th, 2021 at 2 p.m., Simpson United Methodist Church, 907 Centerville Road, Wilmington, Delaware. They will be having a service. So I'm just asking everyone, I'm sorry, I forgot the caravan, Juneteenth caravan. Join us by decorating your car as we ride through the streets celebrating Juneteenth. Saturday, June 19th, 2021, 10:30 a.m. at the Farley Stadium. And they have their contact information. So I'm asking everybody, we're going to celebrate soon. We'll be celebrating July 4th. So let's not forget to celebrate June 19th as well. And let's remember those in the Tulsa Massacre as well. And my last remarks is on Tuesday, Councilwoman Dixon and I had the opportunity to meet with the Moms Demand Action on Tuesday. We had a photo shoot and we listened to their vision and their mission. And I just want to say it was a pleasure. I know everybody couldn't make because it was the last minute, but I would like to say it was a pleasure. And if you ever have the opportunity to meet these women and see what their mission is, they have never had these women are fighting a fight for something that they haven't even been involved in, but they just found it in their hearts to get involved. So thank you, Councilwoman Cabrera, for bringing it up. But on Sunday again at 2 p.m., we'll be having they'll be having their garden party. Other than that, my next thing is let's pray for the families that were involved. Let's keep our city in prayer. Let's keep our government in prayer. We need to stand in prayer for each other. We need to stand in prayer and make sure that our city is covered. You may not like me saying it, and I don't care, but prayer is needed in this city. And that's the only thing that's going to change, prayer. So with that being said, my end quote is, we know we can't stop every act of violence, every act of evil in the world, but maybe we could try to stop one act of evil, one act of violence. That was by Barack Obama. Strong gun laws do not prevent violence. Only good citizens prevent violence. Lloyd Manzer. Thank you very much, Council President. I appreciate the time.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Fields. Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, Council President. I'm gonna try real hard to stick to the 5 minutes. So first, I wanted to announce that the South Bridge community, along with the Civic Association, South Wilmington Planning Network, Healthy Communities, and myself, we are going to be sponsoring a barbecue on Thursday, June 10th from 5:30 to 8 over at the Barbara Hicks Park. If it rains, it's going to move into the neighborhood house, but this is an opportunity for the community to come out in Southbridge. And there's also going to be signups on site for vaccinations by the Care Force MD as well. And people can actually sign up to get their vaccination shots. So again, Southbridge Community Barbecue. We're going to have a DJ there. We're going to have tabling by different job training programs. So Thursday, June the 10th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Barbara Hicks Park at 416 Bradford Street is going to be a great day of fun and collaboration. Also, I want to mention that the Juneteenth, the Wilmington Public Library is going to, they're sponsoring Juneteenth. As we all know, there's a number of organizations that are doing different festivities and events. The Wilmington Public Library, they're going to be doing June 10th on Saturday, June 19th at Rodney Square from 12 to 6. And they're going to have some major headliners there. KRS-One, Take 6, Richard Raw, Naja Nicole, the Twin Poets, and Best Kept Soul is going to be there right downtown in Rodney Square. There was a change of location. They were originally supposed to be on the campus of New Destiny Fellowship, but that has changed. They are now going to be at Rodney Square. And again, the Wilmington Public Library Juneteenth Festival, Saturday, June 19th, from 12 to 6. Also, the Juneteenth Association is going to sponsor their 4th annual Freedom Gala Sunday, June the 27th. It's going to be at the Doubletree Hotel. And because we got a couple more weeks, we can talk more about that later, but people can purchase tickets on their website, dejafreedomgala.eventbrite.com. So there's a number of things that are going on around Juneteenth this year. And so we're just asking that everyone adhere to those particular events, dates, and times. And I did hear someone mention about the fireworks. I sponsored a legislation a couple of years ago about fireworks. And one of the clauses in the legislation dealt with the fire department educating the community. This is just a suggestion. Since we're coming up close to July 4th, we do have a public safety meeting coming up, and just maybe there's an opportunity for someone from the fire department to come and speak to the community about fireworks. It's a suggestion. I'm not the chairperson of public safety. I just thought that based on what I heard, there may be an opportunity to have someone from the fire department to come and talk about fireworks and give us some advice and some guidance around fireworks. And then lastly, this is huge. This is really huge. The state of Delaware is pushing for 70% of Delawareans to be vaccinated. If everyone goes to deewins.org, there are a plethora of prizes that everyone can partake in. There are some, if you got vaccinated between May 29th through June 29th, there are certain prizes that you can win. And then there is that one prize that anybody can win if you were vaccinated, and that's the $302,000. Woo-wee. And some of the prizes, people can put their name in for a raffle to even go to college at Delaware State, University of Delaware, and Del Tech. So I just want to encourage everyone to go to DEWINS, DEWINS.org to check out all of the prizes and the incentives that are being offered. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley. Councilwoman Oliver.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to congratulate Girls with Pearls, Ms. Bell and her organization. It's a group of female young ladies ages 5 to 15. They used to work at the library and I think another building, but now they currently have their own building over in Trolley Square. They do dancing. They have tea parties, pageants. They write letters for seniors. I mean, you know, you always hear about the bad stuff with the teens and the youth, but you don't hear about always the good things. And that is an excellent organization. It was an honor for me to be there and present them with a resolution. Plan on bringing them in on the 17th so we can meet them and see the great work they're doing. Also, I like to thank Sylvia Harris and Sandy, these young ladies, and the late T.Y. Tyler Brooks. They have been in a struggle for years working with the Juneteenth, and it's an honor for them to work hard, and they've had so many acknowledgements. I think they've been acknowledged about 5 or 10 times, but I'd like to thank them for the outstanding work they do with the Juneteenth, and I really appreciate both of them. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Coker and the Black Doctors. We will be back at Brown Burton Winchester Park this Saturday for the second dose of Pfizer from 10 to 12. And I'm looking forward to that. And I like to say, lastly, gun violence is an epidemic, as we all have stated. I was out there last night on Market Street with Pastor D. I'd like to thank our president for allowing us to use Congo's parking lot as a safe haven also. So I was out there for many, many hours last night and said a few words on the news, which I shouldn't have said, but when they came over to me, I couldn't resist it. A couple of residents had called, said they were scared, and I was able to go over there and calm them down. But with that being said, I don't think, this is my opinion, as council members, I know his mother, I didn't know the young man, but sometimes as council members, we can step on people's toes. And it's unfortunate that I just say, in a situation like that, I would say, just let the family breathe, let the officer's family breathe, and let us be called upon when it's time to be called upon. And no disrespect to anyone, but it was a sad occasion, as y'all have all stated on both sides. And my prayers go out to the police officers and my family, and my prayers go out to the young man's mom, because you never know who have mental illnesses and drug-related issues. But with that being said, it was just a tragedy, and I'm glad that I think the city of Wilmington stepped up to the plate. I thought the officers did a great job. I know I received some calls today about people being held in their apartments for hours. And to me, I said, look, I'd rather for you be in your apartment for hours opposed to being shot. So with that being said, I think all of us council members as a whole, we all are concerned about the city and we care about everybody. And I think everybody's doing an amazing job. And thank you so much. And I ask to be excused.
Yes, thank you. You may be excused. Councilwoman Darby.
Yes, I have a few announcements as summertime is approaching, and for all of my parents out there looking for summer camps to go drop them babies off to. There's, I know 2 summer camps that have open enrollment, Ascending Generations and the ARC Learning Center. You can reach out to me on the City Council website and I can provide you with the contact information so you can get your baby enrolled in a summer camp. I know Walnut Street Y, my daughter used to go there when she was younger. They have open enrollment right now, so get them babies signed up so they could be outside and playing this summer and re-socializing. They've been on Zoom for too long, so if you feel comfortable, send your babies. Also, there's another program called Scholars Turf. They're on Vanderbilt Ave in the 3rd District, and they offer remote learning assistance, but it's about to end. However, they're transitioning to their summer program where they're going to have a safe haven program for kids. They're also going to have tutoring and summer enrichment, which is so important. the tutoring and summer enrichment piece, as we know that a lot of our children didn't do too well with being home on Zoom. And a lot of our kids just need that extra additional support this summer, and making sure that they're up to par when they go into whatever grade they're going into this school year. Specifically in my district, most of it is Red Clay. There was an email that went out either today or yesterday in regards to a summer enrichment program that you can download on your children's laptops. You will be able to keep your laptop with you all summer. So I don't know about the other districts, but I know for Red Clay, everyone can keep their laptops over the summertime. They're offering a free summer program, and it's optional. I say take it, do the program, have your children sit down 15 minutes a day. Will make a difference for your children and making sure that they're prepared for the school year. Also, I'm trying to find the flyer in my phone. There's another program in my district. It's called Tennis Rock House. They also have open enrollment for parents for your children to sign up. They're going to have tennis training. So they'll teach your baby how to play tennis. And they also have tutoring during the summertime and the summer enrichment piece, which is so key for our children during this time. And then I'm still trying to find a flyer. But Tennis Rock House and Jefferson Center. So at Hanover Church, Jefferson Center, they're looking for programs. So they don't have programs currently, but they are looking for programs to place in Jefferson Center to be able to service the community. So if you are a person who runs a program, you don't have to exactly be a 501c3, but if you run a program, a mentorship program, something for kids, elders, and you need a space, reach out to me. I can get you connected to the Jefferson Center. You don't have to be in the 2nd District to run your program, but if you need a space for low, for free, for, good price, reach out to me. I can get you set up at the Jefferson Center. And then, the track and field. So June, we're not in January anymore, but June 2nd and 9th, it's at Mount Pleasant. It's a track and field. So that's a way to get the kids out and running, having fun, get medals. And it sucks that relays aren't happening this year because that's the exciting part about track and field. But after that, after June 9th, for the rest of the summer, it would be in the 2nd District, at Salesiano at the track down there at Boehner Stadium. I guess they renamed it, but Boehner Stadium is where they'll have the Wednesday night team champion, Wednesday night track and field meet. So definitely there's so many things going on, so many free things going on. Ask questions, reach out. I can help you if you want to find something specific for your children. And let's get them out this summer because I know mine needs to be out and not eating all my food. So that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Darby. Councilwoman Fields, you may be excused. Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really don't have any announcements, but I just wanted to comment on some things that other council members had said or further. We all agree that the criminal justice system needs an overhaul and some changes, but I have to defend when people claim, or it is true, that the courts allow people out on bail. The problem is that when the courts pack the prison, when the prisons get overcrowded, and then the feds come down on our prison system, and either the prison has to release individuals or they have to come up with a plan to build another prison. We hit that dilemma a couple of years ago, and the Department of Corrections released a lot of people, which was controversial, but they couldn't find a place to build another prison. And I don't think there's a lot of residents in the county that want another prison in their locale. So I'm not defending them. I just wanted to give the information that, as everyone agrees, we are in a dilemma and there needs to be a lot of changes in our criminal justice system. The only other thing is about the federal program, the money that HUD is giving us, the $53,000. One of the reasons we're getting so much money is because our city is in such desperate need for adequate housing. We have, I think, over half of the city, I think it was 13 districts that don't have to qualify or meet any special requirements to get assistance because they're such poverty level and there's such lack of housing available for them. So the money is supposed to help our communities. And I think all the statistics show if you have a stable community of homeowners, it reduces crime. People they pay attention to what's happening. They get to know their neighbors. They sort of self-protect themselves. And with the mayor's stabilization program, it's a very positive thing, but it seems to be going to the development of projects, the development of houses. There's nothing on the ownership side. We need something that encourages people to buy in Wilmington and gives them some incentive to buy in Wilmington. That's all I have this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Gray. I just want to start off by thanking our police department and those police departments who kept our city safe during the tragic events over the last 24 hours. I had a chance to go by that building on 25th and Market Street and just walk in there and talk to some of the residents. And we have to make sure as a council, as a local government, just as a community, that those residents are okay mentally. Just walking through there and seeing what I saw, there is no way that building should still be open right now. It is completely wrong for those residents to have to live in that building with the aftermath that I saw today. And I would just encourage my fellow colleagues and anyone who is in government who is hearing this message just to go by there and walk in that building and talk to the residents and ask yourself, would you live in there? And would you want your family? Would you want your grandmother, your grandfather, your children living in that building in its current condition, just based on the aftermath that had on those tragic events? It needs to be closed. Those residents need vouchers to live in some type of housing until that building can be cleaned and restored and at least made safe and presentable. And I just encourage you just to go by and look for yourselves and then form your own opinion of what needs to be done. But I think once you do that, as a council, we need to defend and protect and support those residents who live in that building. And there is no way they should be able to spend another night in that building. There has to be some kind of funding for them to be able to get housing, for them to be able to get some type of mental trauma help. I just can't imagine going through that and then having to stay in that building. So please just take a few minutes and go by there and talk to them, walk in the building, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. We have to make sure that once something like that happens, that the resources that are supposed to be in place, they immediately go into action, because that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened for those residents there. There has been no one that has contacted them to see if they're okay mentally. There has been no organizations that have gone by there just to make sure that they're okay. And I'm pretty sure that's supposed to happen. Whenever there's a shooting in our city, we have a response team that goes in and just talks to the residents and just to make sure that they're okay mentally. And that has not happened. That needs to happen immediately. So once again, my thoughts and my prayers are with the police department, with the families of the victim, and with those residents, and with our community. We just have to make sure that we are advocating, because they desperately need us right now. I have a lot more to say, but I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. Just go by there and take a look. That's all I'm asking you to do. And with that, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.